blurring the lines between real life and second life. Bringing you in-depth information about the people behind the avatars. Giving you insight like you've never heard before. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fourth Wall with Paul and BK.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Fourth Wall. Today it is just myself, BK, and my lovely partner Z. Unfortunately, Paul had to step out for real life and he is not going to be here today, so you just have to put up with myself. And of course, Z's been putting up with me for such a long time that, she knows how to deal with me. So if you all have any questions, you can ask her. Anyway, thank you for listening to us on Darkstar Radio at darkstarradio.com and watching us on YouTube. Today we have a very special guest, one that I have known for quite a while. Z has known for a little while, and anybody who's been in the SL Wrestling community has known this man, or at least heard of this man for quite a while. He is one of the most, I don't want to use the word unhinged, but he is one of the most unpredictable people that you will run into because I've worked with this man on comms. I have been in the ring with this man. I have heard his promos. I've talked to him backstage. This is one of those, we can almost put him in the category Sparksy. You never know exactly what's going to come out of his mouth. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we had the one, the only, the Xander Garcia, also known as X. X, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And I'll start with hello. That one should have been predictable.
You'll start with hello.
Yeah,
I have
hello.
I have never known you to just start with a hello. So why don't you just go ahead and give us a Xander introduction?
All right, X, Xander Garcia. I am a Capricorn. I sometimes like long walks on the beach, love puppies, and I'm okay with rainbows.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of introduction.
No, it's just the fact, that in the pre-show you were saying, I don't want to talk about this, and that this is unscripted. So, like I said, we're just going based right off of just whatever happens. So, based on talking about things on what just happens, you have to go with the flow. You and I had one match that will never, ever be lost in my memory. It is one that, in all honesty, I can't remember every single aspect of it. And you know which one I'm talking about? The stretcher match?
Yes.
Okay.
Match.
Yeah. So, for you that don't know, and I'm going to let X tell his side of it, because I had things that happened on my side, and he was having things happen on this side, and we were in a call during this match because there was so much involved in it. But Xander and I, in the storyline, we decided that our last match was going to be a stretcher match. Now, this was back in the time when, if you recall, that every time somebody would have what we at that time we called free-per-views, the FPVs, everybody wanted to do one that was bigger and better than the other person, which is grand. But they were doing stuff like having special arenas built. They were having special props built. And do you remember this one, X? This one was set up almost like a fallen Roman Coliseum.
Yes, all in the sky.
Yeah, it was
barriers.
Exactly, all in the sky, no barriers. And there's other things that happen in this, and like I said, we'll talk about this, but the reason why this match stands out, it wasn't just the high spots we had in the match, it was at the end of the match, which you won, where you put me on the stretcher and you're pushing me up the steps. And I don't know what happened, but if you remember this, your head actually ended up getting spun around. And somehow or another, we ended up getting tossed into the sky, and it reminded you of the old E.T. movie poster with the bicycle where he's going E.T. in front of the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember getting tossed into the sky, and everybody was like, oh, my God, it's E.T.? It was E.T. That was the biggest. That was the biggest takeaway from that match was lag.
Amen. Oh, goodness, yes. But on my screen, everything was fine. I just looked over at, now we call it production chat, but before it was just in-world group chat, and they're all freaking out. And I said, it's okay. I just hit a little bump. I'm going up there like, no, everything's gone crazy. And I was like, have you heard of selling? We just went through a grueling match. I'm not just going to casually push him to the back. All right, it's going to take me a minute. Then they're showing me screenshots of us like 2,000 meters in the air, and I'm looking at my screen going, I just hit the ramp. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
just going to keep going. No, no. Other screens were seeing something else, and I just had to tell them, look, change the channel back to this match, okay? Just come back to this match.
And if you recall, one of the highlights of that match was we did a spot where they had a column that had collapsed and broken in two, and it was sitting just a few meters off of the ring itself. And like you said, there were no barriers because it was on a platform in the air. And if you remember that spot, we actually had the um, stretcher sitting behind that, not necessarily trying to hide it, but we had it sit behind there because the spot was I was going to come after you, you were going to backdrop me, and I was going to end up landing on the stretcher, which was going to be the first time that you were going to push me out. And if you recall,
Mhm.
I did everything, and on my screen, the stretcher disappeared. On your screen, it didn't, because if you recall, I kept saying, why am I floating? Why am I under the platform? You're like, dude, you're not. I'm like, I don't see the stretcher. I don't know if I'm on the stretcher. You're like, dude, shut up. I got this.
Yeah. Yeah, it was oh, gotta love SL. But it was like every screen saw something different
hmm
at the end of that match.
Everybody, and no matter what we did, it was like you were saying, "I can't see you. Where you at?" And I'm like, "I'm standing in front of you." And then a few seconds later, I'd be like, "Where you at?" It was like it was so lagged that people we were losing basically losing our eyes. We were losing our avatars. We were losing our props. I have no idea how we even made it through that match because that was probably the laggiest event that I'd ever been through.
The way everyone deals, well, let me rephrase. Everyone should deal with lag in a match. You push forward and you push through it. You just keep going.
Well,
You just keep on going.
okay, so now we're talking about for us, one of the most well, I shouldn't say harrowing, but the most frustrating matches we've ever had. You've been in SL wrestling for what, 100 years now?
No, no, 98.
Oh,
I'm
98.
almost
Oh,
there.
oh, you're almost there.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm almost there.
so you've been there for 98 years, and you have
Hmm.
been in all kinds of matches. You have been in different feds. You're one of those that pretty much when you say I've probably seen and done it all, there's no question to it. So, with all your matches and all the people you've been in the match, one of the things I always ask everybody on the show because it's always interesting. What is your number one favorite match you've ever been in, and who is your number one favorite opponent to ever be against?
Oh, strangely enough, that is two, possibly three separate answers. The first one, my favorite match, DCWF. It was just, I don't know, we were maybe 5 weeks into an 8 week cycle, and just, just we might have been second match of the card, but it was myself versus Nick Sin at the time. Nick
Yeah,
Sin.
I know Nick. Yeah.
Yes, and everything in that match was just beautiful. It was like I don't want to say that we had telepathy and we were of the same mind, but we had written and worked that match out like an hour and a half beforehand, and we just pushed towards. I was focused on I am just going to go where I need to be, and he did the same thing, and it was just beautiful. So yeah, that's one match that comes to mind. People that I enjoyed working against, unfortunately, may they forever rest in peace. But it was Cherokee and Omen. I would have them tied,
Oh wow. Okay.
and and the reason why I enjoyed working against them so much is because they had this like quiet, well, sometimes not so quiet, but they had this quiet way of going about like they had to be the stars and they had to be the champions and that's it. And then they would just like not do anything with the championships. And then it was just for me, it's so easy to work against people like that because I could just unleash on them. Like I can go full out on them and just, you can't talk. You're slow in the like I can just go on this big old list, and I know it's okay because I'm just talking about fictional characters.
Well, yeah, that is very true. Okay, so you mentioned, well, I said a match, and I probably should clarify a little bit more because usually when somebody has a match, there's some kind of gimmick to it. Like for instance, I remember the triple threat match that I had in which was VAW, which now is Premier. When I had the triple threat match with Mako and Psycho Steve for the Intercontinental title, and I was champion at the time, and they had some great big huge letters at the free for view, the VAW, and we walked out of the tunnel,
Hmm.
under the A, and I ended up getting double super kicked off the W, and and I won't forget it. Blackheart. I can't remember the first name, but he was a Blackheart. He was on comms, and everybody, BK has died. So that stands out. And then of course I had the triple cage match where I fell through all the cages. I had the match with Paul at OEW when we had that no holds barred thing. There's just matches stand out. And usually when I'm talking about matches stand out, that's what I mean is like gimmicky type matches. Because I mean you can have great
Hmm.
singles matches, but there's always that one match that you have that really really makes people stand out because of something, like somebody goes through a ladder, somebody goes through a table. What kind of match like that for you stands out?
Oh, three actually, and two happened quite recently, just late this past year. I finally, after almost 14 years, I finally got to pin somebody while driving a golf cart. Like I just drove a
Wait,
golf cart into the ring,
wait.
hit somebody, and I got to pin them.
Okay. I haven't seen the match, so before we go to your number two, I have to know
Mhm.
how in the hell did you drive a golf cart into a wrestling ring?
Okay, so I had a promo earlier, earlier in the show, and we were supposed to be talking about something else. It was me. I was talking with Ace at Premiere, and we were talking about he was working towards full circle, and we were talking about that. But of course, I just like I need to commandeer this because I've been waiting almost 14 years for this. So I just slipped it in the end. It's like, okay, Ace, sorry, I gotta go. I gotta go pay some people to put a ramp up on the ring, and then I gotta go steal something. So I'll catch you
Okay,
later.
okay, got you. Okay. So you set that up. Okay, now that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now your second
Yes.
one now.
The second one was okay. So the original idea was that John Dennis and Sabrina Ireland steal my gear. And
Hmm.
this, mind you, the first and second one, these two happened in the same season. In fact, I want to say they happened 3 weeks total. Like there was 1 week in between. Anyway, so they steal my gear, and they're like, he can't come out. I originally wanted to come out with a sensor ball around my lower extremities to make it seem like I'm wrestling nude. So I'm
Oh
like,
my god.
I gotta wrestle naked.
Oh my
I don't know why. I've always wanted to wrestle naked. They said no. They said, okay, we need a towel. So for some reason, and I don't know why, the towel made it 1,000 times sexier.
god.
And so I walk out with this blue towel, and I got it almost to my knees. But since we're filmed, I had to tell the camera person, for the love of everything holy, stay in the hard cam position. So I know how to keep my position in the ring. I have to keep my back to the hard cam because if I flash the hard cam, that's it. We're getting canceled.
No.
There's no more Premier Wrestling on YouTube. Linden Labs is coming in and wiping this. I mean, it just everything would fall apart. But we did that, and I got little cheap shameless plug here. Black Dragon Animations triangle hold, and I put John Dennis's face under the towel, if you know what I'm saying.
No.
And so then I mic up and I'm just screaming, why did I choose this move?
Oh my
Why did I do this? This
God.
was the worst decision I've ever done.
Oh my God.
And then he gets on mic. He's like, oh my God. It's like, stop breathing. Stop breathing. Don't go. No, hold your breath. Hold your breath. Oh, wait, it makes it worse.
What?
Don't make eye contact. What are you doing? And so, yeah, we're just yelling and it's just fucking wonderful. And I just, I love that. And my third match was my DCWF graduation match. Now, when I started my first 5 years, I just kept getting stuck on the desk. I'm just stuck on commentary. So my last match was my 1000th match. So the math is all over the place. But my first 5 years, I had maybe 10 matches total. And so thus I'm like, I don't know, I think it was like 7-8 years wrestling, and I finally got my DCWF graduation match. So yeah, numbers loved me. Anyway, so in that, it was a Halloween match, and I came out as a Ghostbuster. and I'm out there and I'm just like, I'm just doing a promo, and I'm like, I'm so looking forward to this. Normally people get their, graduation match 3 to 6 months in. I decided to wait 8 years because I'm fucking rebel or something. I don't know. So then suddenly Jericho Scarbridge, love him. Jericho and Baza trained me. All the credit goes to them to, get me at least to do a rope shoot. So Jericho turns on his mic in the backstage, and he is playing Zool.
Okay.
And I'm like, so he just starts talking, and he's trying to do the voice, but we all love him, and I believe KC, called him. He's a Geordie, so a Geordie trying to do Zool's voice. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I was like, jelly, and he said, "There is no jelly. There is only Zool." No. I said, Jericho? And he said, there is no Jericho. There is only jelly. And then he literally, like Patrick Swayze, phases through the entire stage, because when we were working on it, he's like, hey, can you make this maybe 10 foot tall? I'm like, no, I'm going to make it 6 stories tall. So he comes out, and he literally just attached it to his body like you would your hair. But it is this 6-story jelly bear. Big ass red gummy bear, but we called it the jelly bear. And he comes to the ring with that. This thing was huge.
Talk about going all in. Talk about going all in on a gimmick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was just, it was a Halloween match. They said we could dress up as anything. We got the audience involved. They, we had 5 or 6 stunt grannies or ringers in the crowd going, I just thought of a good snack. And, that's what he came out as, like the Stay Puft and Ghostbusters. So yeah. And that was before the match even started. But,
wow. Like I said, talk about going all in on a gimmick. That is just going all in if you're going to go to that extreme. Okay.
Well, yes.
You have to respect it.
That's how you get extreme. You got the X in there, and that's what I tell everybody. And when I'm writing just a simple match, and they're just like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna hit you. I'm like, bitch, hit me. Hit me in the face. Don't hold back. Oh, here's a little tap. No. Hit me.
It's, it seems to me, with your, they have fetish places for that, You may have to pay a little bit extra, but you do know that you can go to that right?
Well, yeah, PW has their own dominatrix. I just, no. I'm weirdly vanilla. Like I thought I was a sick freak and I needed to be in an insane asylum. And then like 2010, I'm like, hey, let me check out this SL thing. I come in there and I'm like, I am vanilla. I am like bland spaghetti dinner vanilla. I am
Well,
boring as hell.
well, I've said it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The first step to rehabilitation is self-admitted. So you have time to change.
Yes, I need to be rehabilitated from being so damn boring. Like I need some kinks. I need some weird ass
Well,
kinks.
here's the
I
thing.
don't know what they are, but
You really can't
mhm.
say that you're boring because, even though I am no longer over at AVW, um, we had a couple of nights that we were on the table together, and that's not something you and I got to do a whole lot of in the past. And you can't say you're boring because I honestly, when you talk about things being unscripted, I honestly had no idea what you were going to be doing each week that you came out and what you were going to be saying. And there was many times I had to mute myself because I was laughing so hard. So you cannot sit there and say
Oh.
that you are boring.
No, I just meant in the kink department.
Well,
Everything
there's
else,
there's nothing I can
yeah.
help you.
So
I personally can't help you with that.
right, right.
I
I
mean,
just want to
I mean they
break
do
that
have.
up.
I'm just letting you know they do have facilities for that. Just let you know.
Good, good.
Okay, so now we've been talking a whole lot about SL here, and we haven't touched on your real life.
All right.
Now you were discussing earlier, pre-recording, that you had been listening to some of our prior episodes, so you can kind of get an idea. Even though we're unscripted, kind of get an idea how we talk about things, and sometimes what the topics and what the subjects may be. Because with being wrestling, you are going to touch on the same topics, and so you're saying that you come in paired. Well, one thing that you would notice is that one thing that we always try to get is the story behind the avatar, which is what our premise is. That's what we want people to be interested in. They're already interested in you as X in SL because of your magnetism. In all honesty, because your charisma and because you're really good at what you do. It's the person back there that you said, hey, I want to check out this SL. I'm very vanilla. So the person sitting behind the screen right now, how did you actually end up coming into SL since you said it that way? And what was your wrestling experience or your wrestling basic indoctrination into in RL that got you to find it in SL as well?
All right. Yes. Now this part I'm ready for. I'm gonna see if I can blaze through this so it's not like 19 minutes of it. All right. As a kid, mom said no wrestling. Too violent. Fine. I turn 8 years old. Unfortunately, we had a loss of the family. My mom took it pretty hard, so the sternness started slacking a little bit. So, 8 years old, I go rake some leaves. I go to a garage sale. There's a box with those, recordable VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Memorex or whatever the hell
Mm-hmm.
they were.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a box of them. So I bring them home, and the family member that passed away, I inherited a little like tube television and a VCR. So I'm going through them, and no, Z, calm down over there. There was nothing kinky or weird on the tapes. It was like a birthday party, and I think a
Those are the
graduation,
ones
and
you had to be careful about playing because there
right.
was no telling what the hell you were going to run into on those tapes.
But I'm 8 years old, and so it's okay. Anyway, it was a bland, boring
But
family.
you got it at a yard sale. You weren't the one that recorded it. It
Exactly.
could have been some kinky ass granny holding that yard sale, and you got some kind of nasty granny porn on VHS. So,
Right, dressing up like two rival mascots, just going at it.
Oh
Anyway,
my
so I
gosh.
get home, and I want to say, like the fifth tape I put in. Boom! I'm watching Stu Hart, Vern Gagne, old bright black and white. 32 seconds in, I knew I was going to love this forever. Like that was love at first sight. Okay, I get it. Rom coms and holding hands and significant others and all that stuff. No, fuck that. Yeah, 32 seconds in. That's it. That's my life. So let's skip forward to about 16 years old. And obviously watched a lot more wrestling after that. Kind of had to sneak around the parents to do it until I was like 13. And, I do what I want. So anyway, so I'm 16, hanging out with friends. And we got this like ridiculously rich kid that we hung out with. And to our credit, even though, yes, I was a complete shit, 100% punk when I was, and no, not CM punk, like an actual punk when I was a kid, but this guy was cool. Anyway, he's just stupid, filthy rich. So we all decided, hey, let's learn how to wrestle. So we look in the yellow pages and we're like, oh, hey, look, here's a wrestling school. So we go, and no, it's just really some dude named Dave out of his barn. Like, there was a couple times we thought we were going to get axe murdered. But he did show us the bump. He did show us the rope shoots, and he did show us the old NWA start. And that was it. So we just kind of took it from there. So the rich friend paid, to rent out the high school gymnasium because it's summertime. And I think the gym was named after his father. Anyway, he got us a really good ring because the rich kid really wanted to be a ring announcer, buffer style.
Okay.
He sucked. So, but hey, he had the money. So, that's it. So we go there, we're doing the thing, and one thing I vividly remember is when we walked out of the weird makeshift Dr. Curtin thing that they made up, it actually smelled like Vicks Vapor Rub. So I was concerned that there was some, there was some retirement home missing some furniture.
God.
But get out there, we're working the match. We're going real soft on each other because obviously safety first. And I remember we're going towards the end of the match. I'm laying there and I realized two things. The first one was I never looked at the rafters of the high school gymnasium. So I'm looking at them because, I'm laying there. I'm kind of wailing, but there's not much you can really do when you're on the mat selling. And then the second one I realized at the time was this live event thing really isn't for me. Like this just isn't for me. Like I thought it was, but I'm 16. So obviously I came to that realization. Now we're going to skip ahead. So it's 2010, now that I'm moding into SL stuff. It's 2010. A dear friend of mine named CJ Tyron, rest in peace. She and her real life parents were in SL. They're building stuff. They're doing crazy things. They're like, come check it out. I'm like, okay. So I come check it out, and I don't know anybody else that got pulled in by friends, but like everybody else I've talked about who that happened to, 45 minutes in, I'm ditched. I'm just sitting here in SL going, what the hell am I going to do? So give me landmarks to all the, get stuff places with all the boxes out. So I say, fuck it. I'm just going to have some fun with this. So I'm running around and I'm grabbing up all this stuff. I've got the Wraith black spiky hair on. I've got my freeness flopping freely. I don't give a fuck. I'm just fucking shit up.
With the hair, did you have the one that I had that was the blonde spikes with the black tips?
No,
Okay.
Mine was just all black.
Oh, okay.
It was completely black.
And of course,
anyway,
and of course the bling peen. The bling bling.
Yes. My disco balls going real bright for everybody to see. I didn't care. I had like 9 boxes on each hand. I'm just running around. And at this point, I'm really just looking for friends to go burn some trash with. Like, I didn't care. Like, I'm just going to tear some stuff up, go crazy, and everybody's like, no, let's go have a pool party. And I'm like, I just got this animation and this weird like what particle thing. I'm peeing on things. I'm literally just walking into stores while people are shopping and then just peeing.
God.
Then I'll go to the hubs. I'm peeing on the hub itself, like the landing point. I'm peeing on it. People walking by. I clicked on my mic. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'm just having a blast.
Oh my God.
And so I want to say, roughly almost a year later, January 25th, 2011, Always remember that date. I will. I'm not telling anybody else to. I'll always remember that date. January 25th, 2011. I go see a wrestling show, and like Dante, I thought it was just going to be two people standing in what looked like a ring and be like, suplex, choke slam, hee hee. So I'm like, oh, I'm so going to heckle these bitches. Oh, I'm so going to have some fun. But then I heard the bell, and I watched the lockup, and I'm like, well, fuck Mandy Patinkin. This shit is good. They're actually doing it themselves. Like, and I think back to that, I'm wondering, what if I would have found poseball wrestling before DCWF? I don't know. Like, oh, my history would have been way different. Anyway.
Well, yeah, you would have the same histories like Bannockog and, some of those guys like that.
Oh, no, I never would have made it over to the SL Wrestling community. I would have stayed in poseballs and never changed.
Really?
Anyway, I think so, which we'll dive into because, like I said, I want to, I want to crank shit up. I want to get deep and gritty into this. So, yeah, and I'm hanging out there and talk to a few people, and suddenly, first time on the desk, I got Seltman McMahon, epic, by the way. He's on my left, Numbers Rosini on my right. It's WrestleFest like 4, I think, 4 or 5. I don't know, I lost count. And there we go. The rest is history.
Alrighty then. I mean, okay. I see. I had no idea that you had any. I mean, even a slither of no. I had no idea that you had any sliver of RL wrestling experience. And even though you said, hey, I decided it's not for me. I had no idea that you had actually went through that, where you actually tried to learn how to wrestle. That's brand new news to me.
Yeah, so what we called it back then, we called it Indie 0.5 because you had your like trash bag wrestling, you had your backyard wrestling, then you had your levels of indies, right? Your tiers. So we just said we're at like tier 0.5, but hindsight being 2020, no, it was a low level indie show. Because there are so many different indie shows that I have seen, and I'm like, well, our production, we had a Vicks Vapo Rub curtain, and they don't. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe we were a little bit better than we thought we were, but yeah, no, it was just a gem trying to hype people up.
Okay, so this this indie thing that you did, you only got. How long did you work on putting together that match that you were just talking about, where you finally made the decision where you're like, yeah, this is not for me? How long did you actually work up to that point?
Oh, so it was years in the making, but the actual work of that was done within a week. And we really just worked out our match the night before because we're 16, we were supposed to be on a Saturday afternoon. So Friday night we didn't sleep. We just snuck into the gym like some coming of age comedy movie, and we're just working the match out. And it was just the most basic match. And weirdly enough, I can say that it's SL, roots, because it was the patty cake, as I call it. Maybe other people do. It's the patty cake thing to her. Okay, so since my penis is only 2.5 inches in real life, you hit me, then I hit you. Then you hit me, then I hit you. Then you hit me, then I hit you. Patty cake, patty cake. We're gonna take turns. Like, what the fuck?
Did you seriously?
Did momentum just get lost out of that? Yes, I call it the patty cake.
No. Did you seriously just talk about having a 2-inch penis playing a part into this patty cake thing?
Oh, absolutely. 2-inch penis, patty cake.
I don't. I think you and Sparksy are related.
Just rewatch it. Just rewatch it on YouTube. It'll connect somewhere. But no, that's what it is. When you sit down and you write a match, like when I first started, it was, I'll do a move to you, then you do a move to me. Then I'll do a move to you, then you do a move to me. And I'm just like, did we forget about this word called momentum? Can we have momentum? Because I'll tell somebody, beat my ass for a whole spot. I don't care. I'll get my get back. Don't worry. Just come kick my ass for a whole spot. And no, they'll get 3 moves in. It's like, I don't know what to do. Like, well, we ain't doing patty cake, so keep going, Bubba. Here, I'll run at you. Just put your foot up. I will run my face into your foot. I don't care. I need more momentum-based stuff.
Okay, so based on what you just said, and then that you admitted that, that first match that you had, you decided that wasn't for you. How many times have you regretted that decision?
None.
You've never
None at all.
you've never regretted just doing that one thing and stepping away instead of seeing what you could have done is, to improve and to build on and to possibly see where it went. You have no regrets for that?
No, and here we go. We're gonna dive into the nitty gritty. We're gonna get rid of this Maven Huffman Fluffman stuff. Let's dive into it. So, for the longest time, and yes, I'm going to use keywords or whatever here, but for the longest time, I had undiagnosed OCD and OCPD. Now, a lot of people have heard of OCD, right? Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Mm-hmm.
But mine is a personality disorder as well. I have both of them.
Oh, okay.
So that, as the doctors have told me recently, by recently I mean the last 10 years, that I am the most decisive person ever. And they didn't say walk the face of the earth. I'm just saying I am extremely decisive. So once I make my opinion up about something one way or another, that's it. Like that's all. And it'll be difficult to change my feelings. Like it's impossible to change my feelings. You can change my mind. I'm always open to change my mind, but you can't change the way I feel about something. I don't like lemon flavored stuff. Period. Nothing's going to change that. So no, I'm not going to do a Charlie Kirk thing. Go to a campus and say, change my feelings. No, can't.
Yeah, I had a.
So in that,
go ahead. No, go on. No, I'll finish later.
All right. So in that, going through my life, yeah. Once I realized that, once I did it and I tested it, I don't need to test it any further. I don't need to do 9 rails of cocaine over 3 days. I just need to do one. I'll know for certain if cocaine is for me or it's not. That's it.
Okay.
I can drop acid and see all the little pink elves in the world, little unicorn on their things, trying to sing me to sleep with the Beatles lullaby. And no, I don't need acid anymore. I'm good. So I can say I've never tried them, but so consider that a pre-feeling.
Okay.
Like I know I will not like crack cocaine. I know that. I'm for certain about that.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, yeah. So that's how I knew. I knew for certain, not a single regret.
Okay.
I'm glad I did it, and that's that.
Okay. Well, when you were talking about the, changing your mind and, you're always able to change your mind, but you never change your feelings, which I completely respect and I get that. But that also, you said that with what you've been diagnosed with, that once you've made up your mind, that's pretty much it. But then you said that there's a possibility to change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you've already got your mind made up that this is not for me, this is not what I like, and I'm just being honest here, how in the world, if your mind's already made up, could somebody actually change it? Because you said your feelings can't be changed, which nobody can change your feelings. Nobody can tell you how to feel. Nobody should tell you how to feel. But when they try to say, look at it this way, how could they possibly change your mind if you've already had it set that your decision is your decision? How does that happen?
Well, I made up my mind. So it's locked in for how I feel from me. So it does get mixed up and twisted because there's no one set thing of like OCD, OCPD. Mm-hmm. I don't turn the light on and off 5 times. I don't relock and lock my door. I don't wash my hands. Okay, I do actually wash my hands.
I was going to say, you better wash your hands.
But there's a lot. No. Like overtly
okay.
So.
I got you. Okay.
Like overly so.
Gotcha.
Like there are some stigmas with OCD and OCPD, but then there's not. So in that, Once I've made my mind up about how I feel in myself with my thing and my decision and going forward, that's it. Like, flat out. But when I say my mind can be changed, is by saying, I don't really like Taylor Swift. Or, you know, oh God, that color is hideous on this person. Or if we're talking about wrestling, to me, Stu Hart is a god. My mind can be changed. My mind can be changed on that. Like with opinions and thoughts, cool. Feelings, never. Never. So I knew the feeling of, I don't want to do this. I felt it, that this is it. That I just, one match, this is not for me. So, yes, you could change my mind. You can't change my feelings. And I made up my mind about a feeling back then.
Okay. And what about now?
Yeah, same thing. Same thing. Like, I don't know. It's really strange. Like, all these people talk about going to these live events. I'm good. No. Hey, we're going to go to this concert. Sorry. I'm good. Hey, we're going to go to this movie theater. Actually, I might go because that's technically not a live event, but a live event like, hey, I want to go see this play. And like Eric Stewart said, no, I don't want to see the dude who fucking found me caulk and goddamn washers for bolts trying to play King Lear. No, I don't want to see that. So
Okay,
I'm
so
just not a.
okay, so as we know, and it's been stated many times, and anybody that plays SL or gets an SL would agree that even though a lot of us, or the majority of us, or in all honesty, all of us, should learn how to separate SL from RL because sometimes you get caught up in one or the other. But we all can agree that our SL in some extension, in some form, is an extension of our RL because our personalities, our characteristics, our mannerisms do get portrayed through our avatars. Now, with that being said, you've been involved in several feds, over your years. Has there ever been a time where you had to, I don't want to say stand your ground, but where your mind, where you had it made up that, things should be what you're doing, what you're involved in, this is how you see it, this is how you see it, this makes the most sense, this is what would get us both over this, and kept trying to say this is how it should be because you knew 100% that you were right, but the other person didn't see it that way, and you ended up, having a big fallout and maybe, leaving a Fed or anything over that? Have you ever had that? Have you ever had that to interfere in your SL wrestling?
Oh yes. And it's okay. I'm gonna try to get through this kind of quickly. So I would say it was kind of like the start of almost like an isolation because I am a self-control freak, which does come across sometimes as a control freak, as a diva, as stubborn, bullheaded, know-it-all, whatever the case may
Hey,
be.
you admitted
But
earlier
I
that you were
am
a diva. You self admitted.
right.
You self admitted
Right.
before we started recording you were
And
a
that's
diva.
that's fine. That's fine. I honestly just other people's opinions are not going to change my life.
Okay.
Like you've got good opinions about me, bad opinions about me. I love it all. Bring it on. Like yes, I respect your thoughts, your feelings, and your opinions. Absolutely. 100%. But never, ever expect it to change me. Unless it's like completely horrible. Like it sounds like you kick children. Like okay, hold on, time out. Let's go back. Let's clear that. I want to clear that up. Absolutely. But as far as everything else goes, yeah, I am a 100% self control freak. So here I am, and I spoke about it before. So 5 years doing commentary, but I said from the jump, I said from the get go, I'm going to be in the ring. I don't mind doing commentary. I love doing commentary. But I said it from the jump, I'm getting in that ring. I'm going to get in that ring. So, first year, I had no matches on a commentary desk. Cool. Love doing it. And here's something a little controversial that we can talk about, but like
Controversial on
when
the
you
show,
ask
never.
people, yeah. But when I've asked people, on this and we're just chatting, we're like, hey, why do you do this? Why do you do this SL Wrestling thing? And they always say, for the fans. For the fans. I'll be the first one to say, I'm doing this for my roster, right? I'm doing this for the company I'm working at. Because of that assimilation, that assimilate mentality. Like, the moment you go out there after a show, be like, hey, did you like the show? Yeah. All right, come be a wrestler. Come be a commentator. Come be a ref. Come on. Come be part of us. You're just trying to assimilate everybody. Thus, you're not doing it for the fans. You're a fucking liar. If you're doing it for the fans, you'll let the fans be the fans. You'll go out there, you'll talk to them, you'll say, hey, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate that. But no. It's like, hey, come join us. I got on mic. I'm like, hey, everything, this is great. Yes, join us. I'm like, and while on commentary,
I was gonna say I never had that problem because anytime I ever went out to talk to the fans, the only thing they want to do is talk to Z. They want to talk to the hot one in the relationship. So I never had I never had to worry about recruiting anybody.
well, they're smart. Anyway, so year 2, I finally get my first match, and Wade, I did love Wade, but my God, we
Oh my
literally
God,
stood
I
in
haven't heard
one
that
place,
name in forever. Jeez, okay.
right? Mr. SFL himself.
Yes.
Oh, and he was a gem. He was, but by goodness, we stood in one place just triggering moves. That's it. Just
Mm-hmm.
we stood in the middle of the ring just triggering moves. Bell rung. We left. That was it. Anyway, I still love that match. It was still wonderful. Anyway, yes, not Wade Dysteria, who is a commentator. No, Mr. SFL.
Yeah.
Wade.
Yeah.
Anyway, then I would say like 6 months, but anyway, so 5 years, I got like 10 matches. And finally, at the end of that, I'd went and I had said, I need to put up boundaries and I need to put my foot down. For 5 years, I've constantly been told, if I don't go on that commentary desk, there's no show. So I put my foot down. I said, let's work on getting somebody else on there. Let's trade off. Let me wrestle 1 week, somebody wrestle, I'll commentate the next. Let's trade off to where I can at least get 26 matches a year. Like something. I'm just looking for something here because I did get locked in that DCWF bubble. And back then, it was so much fun because there were certain individuals, not everybody, but there were just certain individuals that had this massive fucking nipple hard to recreate the Monday Night Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had to do that. They had to do. So I'm sitting back completely all lost in my Jerry Springer vibes. And I would hear, I'm at DCW, I hear about like, oh, the VWE, they're ripping us off. They got a stage. They got a stage like us. And then they're poaching and they're terrible and they're shit talking us. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, fuck VWE. They took my parking spot and they got my shoelaces. Fuck them all to hell. So some people took me seriously.
Shoelaces,
Yeah.
really?
My shoelaces in my parking spot, right?
Okay.
But I'm just really wanting to amp it up because remember, I'm still the guy that wants to find people to burn trash with.
Right.
Like that's the quadrality of it all. If I can make up a fucking word here, that there's 4 parts of me, and a lot of people only see X, but they don't see the other guy all that much unless we talk about HIW. Anyway, so yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck BWE. Oh my God, they suck so much. But then like 3 days later, I'm over there commentating, and I'm putting my all into it. I'm just, and it was my way of letting my actions show that I've never hated BWE, that I love them so much. But I absolutely needed to instigate just a little bit on that. We got to recreate the Monday Night Wars. Because, hey, if we emulate what happens on TV, we will have the same success. Like, no, motherfucker, you don't have the charisma, you don't have the money, you don't have the flash, and you don't have the selling power. So, no, you can't be like, I'm Kenny Omega. No, you're Kenny O'Reilly, and you fucking suck. Like, stop recreating it. Stop trying to mimic it. Let's be ourselves. Because, oh man, I remember every time somebody would IM and be like, hey, you remind me of The Rock. And I'm like, hey, you remind me of my next victim. Do you want to talk about it? Like, no. Let's not try to recreate shit. Let's try to create shit. And so anyway, so I got locked in that bubble.
Yeah.
And I finally said, nope, not doing it. So then I go over to VAW. And this will tie into a story you had spoken about. It was not a tricycle, okay? But with respect, BK, it was not a tricycle that Corrupted came out on. It was a big wheel.
Okay.
And I said, because Corrupted was going up, or Kimon was supposed to go up against Maven.
Yes.
So I said, the best distraction is go out there and make fun of every fucking SL biker. Just go out there. You're on a big wheel. You're going. You are just mocking bikers. Just go for it. Like, but and Corrupted. He's like, but really? I'm like, dude, bikers have the thickest fucking skin. They'll be the first ones to laugh at this shit.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee it. They are not going to get offended unless you say, hey, you Bob Smith. You suck ass and you're a conservative khaki wearing pink fuck. Like then yeah, you'll get your ass kicked. But if you go out there and you're just like, look, I'm on a big wheel, I'm a biker. Like that's just gonna be that they'll laugh at that. They'll laugh at that.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I said tricycle. And honestly, I wouldn't have cared if he came out, those those little hobby horses they have, the horse with the stick. And
Right.
it wouldn't have mattered because the only thing that I took away from that whole thing was grabbing by the weenus. That whole thing. That is after that I remembered absolutely nothing because I was laughing so hard I had to get up, mute myself, and walk out of my real life room and go splash water on my face. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, you had to do that Z cackle. So anyway, I just said go out there and go ahead and mock the biker. The rest was all Corrupted. Weenus was all Corrupted. They were fucking giggling about that. Yes, I loved it. But that was during the beginning of my actual wrestling career.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked into VAW and I talked to LG and I said, number one biggest thing, do not ever put me on the desk. Do not put me on the desk. And I was in DIE with Kitty and Drake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking with Kitty and, we were coming up with these, like ideas for random jobbers, just have some fun because you had, the Hobo Bob, I think it was. And, we were going to come up with this like dude who thinks he's an alien, but really he's just in green body paint. But he thinks he's an alien. So we were like, okay, Planet Zolthanar and whatever. We were coming up with stuff. And so, but I had said, I want to wrestle. And I want to say it was the 4th or 5th week of being there. And I was still on comms. I just walked away. Like I came in, set the boundary, stated, this is it. This is my one demand. I'm signing up as a wrestler and nothing else. And so if I come in and I tell you flat out, straight out the gate, I'm coming in to wrestle as a wrestler. That's it. That's all. And you put me on the comms desk 5 times. That's not my fault because I still did it. I still did commentary 5 times. I still gave it my all. I still did comms as I did, my first, second year. Still put everything into it. And no, so I'll walk away. I don't care. And then obviously, that started burning some bridges, but mending others, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, VAW, I started there. Then I want to say between 2016 to 2015, something like that. In the mid tens or whatever, over 2 years straight, I did 5 matches a week. And I fucking loved it. I was just in hog heaven. That's how I got to 1,000, because I banged out well over 500 matches in a 2-year span. So
That is a lot of matches.
I loved it. I loved it.
Well, see, and
Absolutely.
one of the things that you're talking about, where you said you started out on comms, but you wanted to be in the ring, and you got into the ring. Well, I started out on comms, and I slowly made my way to get into the ring. Well, then I started kind of getting screwed. I'm not gonna because I'm not gonna get into this whole thing where
Mhm.
one of the things that we have said about this show is we're not gonna do any bashing. So when I have something bad to say, I won't repeat the name of anybody because I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus because it's past history.
Right.
Um,
Even though everybody wants you to, they
yeah,
want you to name
pretty,
that
yeah,
name.
they
Go.
pretty much. But
Mhm.
one of the issues that I was falling into was I would go to a Fed, they would hire me in as a wrestler. Then it's happened to everybody. Hey, this comms person, they can't be on the comms table. You're not doing anything tonight. Can you help us out? And
Mhm.
so that would happen. It's like if I wasn't booked for anything, like if I was scheduled for a promo or something like that, go out, do the
Right.
promo, and then go out and help on comms. So then it got to the point where all of a sudden the comms person, oh, they don't know if they're going to come back. And I just kept getting put onto the comms table, put on the comms table, and after about 6 or 7 times, I'm like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Well, this is where we need you. Well, that's not my problem
Mhm.
because you hired me
Right.
to do this. Now I was helping out to make sure the show went on, and now you're taking advantage of me, and you think I'm going to be okay with it. And that's where a lot of my problems started with some of the feds, where I would stand up and say, "This is not what you hired me for. You've got to get somebody in here because my storyline's been screwed up." And the answer is, "Well, we don't care about the storyline. We are doing what we want to do." And that's
Right.
where a lot of issues come in for me. People talking about me being an asshole, which I am, but it's also the fact that
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to stand up for myself and say, look, I will help, but you're not going to just assume that that I'm just doing it. And that's where I come into a lot of issues because I would bump heads with people that made the decision to say, you know what, you need to train somebody else. You need to get somebody else because this is what I was here to do. And they're like, well, if you don't like it, there's a door. Okay, bye. See you later. What are you going to do now? Because now you don't have your reliable comms person.
Yeah, and then we get, like in Hollywood, we get deemed difficult to work with, or full of himself, or Mr. Know-it-all, or a diva, or he's got so many demands. And that's like, I don't know. I don't think that's too big of a demand. Like, I mean, I'm actually proud. I'm actually very proud to say that my first 10 years of wrestling, of being in wrestling, as I just stated, well over 500 matches in 10 years. I stayed away from titles. I would, like, okay, so with DCWF, and as weird as it sounds, and I do not mean this bashing and any of that, because you can't do it, but I can. It was numbers. Like, I had left DCWF and went to VAW. And now I knew going back to DCWF, I'm screwed.
Well, that's not
I
necessarily.
am
I wouldn't say you're screwed because of who's actually helping to run DCWF now.
no, no, no. Remember, this is back
You're not
yonder.
talking about now. You're talking
Back,
about
yeah, no, we're talking
okay,
about back yonder.
okay, gotcha.
So go to VAW, then that goes to SWE. We go flying through the air. Um, ladies and gentlemen, it has neither been confirmed nor denied, but it has not been confirmed that we have actually landed yet. We may still be flying.
This
All
is
right.
SL. We possibly could be.
Yeah, so after that, right after that, I'm sitting there. SWE's closed, and I'm like, I really want to go back to DCWF, but the saying, you can never really go back home.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a couple of days. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, this might actually work out good for me. So I can start doing what is ingrained in me. And I don't know if it's just a me thing or if it is the OCD, OCPD, but I have to earn everything I get.
Right.
Like I don't ever want to find myself in a situation and go, did I earn this? Like, did I actually earn this? And then I have to try to replay my memory. Did I give a reach around to the owner in the
Oh my
parking lot?
God. Really?
Did I, I have to go check my butthole to make
Okay.
certain that I didn't start giving up favors
Yeah.
to get this, that I actually earned this. And
Oh.
so I'm like, that's the best thing to do. And that's what I did. I went back to DCWF and I'm like, yeah, yeah, numbers is not going to be happy. Like the 5 years that I put on a table, gone, erased. And I'm starting lower than a rookie because I crossed him. And that makes sense. You cross somebody, they're not going to, you can't ask for favors or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going back into it. I'm diving into it.
All right.
And to me,
No, go ahead. Finish, please.
so I'm just like, all right. And I did. And there was like no quarter spared. And I'm not comparing myself to Triple H because that's a whole separate other thing. Because I knew going into this, that's okay. Let's go through this. And I'm okay. I was okay with that because it helped me to clear my name with myself and to clear everything up. And I'm like, good. Now I can start actually earning my way.
All right, really quickly now, it's time to take a short break here, and we got to pay some bills. We want to thank our sponsors for today: Darkstar Radio at darkstarradio.com, Aran's Domain, Limitless Pro Wrestling, aka LPW, and All Victory Wrestling, aka AVW. All right, so X, listen, you're saying some stuff here that's I'm not surprised at what you're saying. It's just the fact that I'm actually hearing you say it because you know how SL works. Always talking about, oh, this person said this. There's a whole bunch of he said, she said, they said, them said. Hearing it from you yourself, it's not really shocking me, but but it's kind of funny because a lot of things that you say I can relate to being in the SL wrestling. Not necessarily exactly, but I can relate to a few things. So, so you, I know I'm going to dread doing this. I really know I am, but because I know some of the people that are listening, and I know how some of their minds work. And X, I know you have a long-standing relationship with a lot of the people who are in here listening to us right now. So I'm going to probably kick myself in the ass for this, but Z, do we have any questions?
I do not have any questions that have come in.
Really? Okay.
Oh, wait.
Oh
And
wait, here we
now I'm
go.
being turned into a liar.
Uh-huh.
Because as soon as I said that, all of a sudden, blink, hey, question, question. So,
Uh-huh. Just like, gee, if somebody would have just said at the beginning of this, hey, if you have a question, let Z know, and we come to the part, then we'll get to you. Then they wait till we get to the part to realize they have a question.
They'll always
yeah,
wait. They'll always wait on purpose at
wait
this point.
until I say there are no questions to decide to ask a question.
All right.
And
So,
now I'm sitting and waiting for the question to actually come up.
okay. Well,
So,
the question is first of all, okay, my question is who has the question?
oh, you're gonna love this one
Well, who
because
is it
it's Mike.
first? Oh, it's Mike.
It's Mike.
Oh shit.
Yes, Mike definitely comes up with some of the best questions that
Okay.
we get.
Okay, well, yeah, I agree. Abby, for those of you all that are listening on YouTube, when we're in Discord, we actually have a chat going on, and we have people that we are very aware that do not speak for whatever reason, and we respect that. But we're also looking at this open mic chat, and Kimberly Smith, Abby Tude, for those of you who know her, very prominent in-ring performer, love her to death. Wish at the time I'd done a female avatar because I would have loved to get in the ring with her. That's the honest truth. But she doesn't voice. And just as soon as it was said, "Oh, Mike has the question," just as I was saying it, Abby come in at the same time. So both of us basically in stereo said, "Oh shit!" So we're both of the same mind today. Okay,
Oh yeah,
has
Ms.
Mike
Master.
got his question out,
Oh,
or is he still typing?
okay. I'm reading it now.
Uh-oh, here we go.
And I will give him credit. He's absolutely correct in his last comment here. He actually has a sensible question
Wait
this
a minute,
week.
wait. Mad Mike is making sense.
Yeah, he
What the
actually has asked
fuck?
a sensible
What
question.
the actual hell is
So,
going on today? Is Mike sick?
yes,
Is Mike
I don't
is Mike in the
know.
hospital? Does he need a shot or something? Mike making sense.
You don't
Holy
know
sh!
how. Whoa, whoa, whoa! You don't know how Mike works. Outside the ring, he's completely sensible, but once that fucking bell rings, you're losing a limb
I don't see
at
how though.
minimum.
I don't see how with all the hardcore matches he's had, and plus what he has talked about with his real life. I don't see how the man can be sensible at all because he's only got like 3 brain cells left, and that's his
Oh,
words.
well, that's the paradox. You see, sanity and insanity runs on like a Kelvin scale. You can make somebody so insane that they become sane again. And
Uh,
then the bell rings for Mad Mike, and he's back to insane. So it is. It's a Kelvin scale, and his is probably rolling like a wheel.
all right.
It's just his day with the brain.
Oh,
So,
okay. I got it. I got it. I got it. All right. All right. So let's hear what Mike has to ask. I'm dreading
okay.
this.
Mike says, as one vet to another, what do you think of the current standard of wrestling compared to the past? He is blown away both from human and the furry side, and how far we've all come in terms of in ring performances and less drama. Not all of it's gone, but less.
Oh, I have to say, I love it. I genuinely love it. Now, this is coming from a traditional meat and potatoes, heterosexual cis male. All right. I've got so many conservative views, right? I'm a fucking breeder, whatever you want to call me. I fucking love it because love is love. And I've always stood with the pride community. I've always supported the anthropomorphic or with respect furry community. Always have. I commentated lots of furry matches back in the day when when they were started out, and I don't want to name the the certain clown name, but obviously I'm so glad you got away from that. I watched LPW last night. I watched Honor Pro. I'm fucking loving it. I'm loving it so much I can't boo the heels. So with the state of the way things are going now, I'm just so glad we got over all the bullshit. Yeah, what BK, what you just mentioned with the whole, certain people don't voice.
Right.
Like I remember back in the day, people were talking, oh, it's a female avatar. They're not voicing. It's total dude. I'm sitting back going, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Do you see every single female avatar and you need to go to them in real life and impregnate them? You sick fuck. Calm down. Who
Well,
cares?
here's the thing, and this was funny. I'm not gonna lie. I have not asked this question of any female performer in SL
Right.
because I actually, when I was doing the MC stuff, there was a female president of an MC that at the time, we had become really good friends. In real life, the person behind the avatar was a male. I have no now. First of all,
Okay.
I have no issue with this whatsoever. Okay, so let me get that out of the way.
Right.
But the reason why I never asked anybody was because I had spoken to them before, and they actually kind of made sense to me because of me. And Z is going to laugh at this because of how I
Mm-hmm.
am. But I said I have no issue with you being a guy running a female Abby, but my only question is, why would you want to run a female Abby? His actual answer was, I don't want to sit there and stare at a guy's ass all day long. So I can't argue that point.
Fair.
Female asses are much better than ours anyway. So yeah, I can relate to that. I can understand wanting to stare at a female butt all day long. So yeah, I can get that.
Hell yes. And it's like I don't get, real life, SL, all this hate, all this mocking and all of that stuff. And I'm just like, is your life so fucking miserable that you have to try to say negative things towards other people? Like that's all I've ever seen it as.
Well,
And there were
then you also have to, and when I say this, I'm not knocking people, but at the same time, everybody knows that I'm not afraid to tell them the truth. But one of the things that you don't take in consideration, or what people don't take consideration, is the person, regardless if it's a male behind the avatar or female behind the avatar. They may not voice. Maybe they have something in real life that they can't voice. Like they couldn't afford to get a microphone. They couldn't afford. They could only afford a headset. Or in some cases they have a speech impediment, or they have issues with or they can't read. Maybe they're dyslexic. Nobody ever takes that stuff into consideration. It's just that, oh, you don't speak, so you have to be a guy. That's not always the truth, because I know for a fact that one of our good friends, Emma Gray, we know she's a female in real life. We all know this, and she doesn't
mhm.
speak. It doesn't matter if she doesn't speak. It's what she does in the ring, and it's how she carries herself, in here. Abitude, we know it's a male behind the avatar, but we don't care because she doesn't speak, because she wants to keep that kayfabe. And I'm sorry, Abby, please don't get mad at me. I'm just being truthful here, because she wants people to know her, know Abby, know the character, and Kimberly for what they do in the ring. It shouldn't matter what they sound like, and I totally agree with that, and that's why I've always respected that.
Right. So I
Oh,
I take the view that Morgan Freeman does on racism. It's like I'm looking forward to the day to where we just don't talk about it, you know? Like that bell rings, somebody comes out, furry, human,
Yeah, I care less.
whatever gender, right. And that's it. And it's just like I know cuz like Mike just said in the, in the chat here, yes, I would say Mike and I have had discussions, and some of our views are different, and not just because American, you know, English, because I sit down, I'm going for a biscuit. It's not a cookie; it's a biscuit. So not none of that, but I'll always see it as with Mike. I know that if I sit down and talk with Mike, and it gets to that, other stances, we're going to have discussions while other people are looking for arguments. Now, the difference between a discussion and an argument is a discussion is to find out what is right, where an argument is to find out who is right.
Right,
And
exactly.
I'll be the first to say I'm neither right nor wrong as far as the entire world goes. Period. I'm neither right nor wrong. I'm doing my thing. And flat out, I have never met somebody from the pride community that's LGBTQ in their respective other, letters and numbers and abbreviations. I can't keep up with it. I guess, I'm a little too conservative or too old fashioned or whatever the case may be, but I love them. So I call them the pride community. That's
Yeah,
how I refer to them as.
that's exactly what I call them, because I'm not gonna lie, I can't, I don't know all, and it's
Yeah,
out of respect, and I would just much rather say pride to include
exactly.
to make it very inclusive for everybody, instead of having to name out everybody's letters and all that. It's just like I call them the pride community, because I have a now real life daughter that was born my son, so I am, vested in the community because I support my child. But
Hmm.
even when I talk to her, I'm always like, I love the pride community. I'm very respectful of you all, and she's fine with it because she understands that I'm trying to be as correct as I possibly can by being inclusive by just saying everybody.
Right. And so in that, and let's focus specifically on the furry community. Like, I walk around. I'm kind of human form, I'm kind of a big ass titan, but regardless, I'm walking around, I'm in human form. Never once have they laughed at me and said, "Oh, stupid human." Never once have they said, "No, sorry, you can't come in here because furries only." And there are some sims out there that say furry only,
Hmm.
right? But they're so polite. They're like, "Oh, hey, we're sorry. This is just for furries. It's it's just like a safe space to where all furries all the time." And I'm like, "Hey, you know what? I respect that, and I love you, and I'll dip out." So yeah, I never got that. I never really connected in with that mindset of, oh my god, they want to be a chinchilla. What are they thinking?
Yeah. The only,
I'm just like,
I'm not gonna lie, but
who hurt you?
we were talking about respecting those that don't voice for whatever reason. Like I said, I personally care less what the reason are. That's how they play their SL. Their SL is their SL, which a few people had
Mhm.
mentioned here in our chat. But I will tell you the one thing, and even as a commentator, I didn't like doing this, and I understand sometimes it has to be done, but I didn't ever like the fact of having a female to come out, such as Emma or Abby or like Karma Star, that they would have to come out and their promos would have to be read, and the majority of the time they
Mhm.
were read by men. That was the only thing I never agreed with. It was should have been like if you know they're going to go out there, at least for that
Mhm.
particular show or whatever, send a female out there to be a co-commentator and let the female read it because even though it's a different voice, it's still putting a female voice to the look of a female Abby. I just never agreed being a guy reading off a female promo.
Well, to see, and we're going to have a discussion. We're going to have a discussion because as speaking first person, I fully agree. However, when I'm on commentary, I will state she says.
Right.
you know, they, whomever it is, she said it. She said it. You know, I'm just relaying it because that's what we do with commentary. Think about it that way.
Hmm.
We're not in the ring doing those moves. We're saying, oh, so and so hit the clothesline. So and so looks like they're about to pass the hell out. So thus it's so and so says this, and
Right.
so, she, her, and or whatever pronoun they wish to go by. And that's to me, that's what commentary is. It's across the board. Now, promos, if they can do their promo thing, awesome. Like that is great. Somebody try to explain to me how you can like get your whole promo recorded out beforehand and then somehow feed it back through your microphone in SL. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Or we can just read it, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just like, who cares? Just let's just ah.
Well, I mean, I
It
agree.
it always.
I mean, like I
Mhm.
said, we've been saying that. You're right. It's the big question is, well, the big question, it shouldn't be who cares. It should be why do you care? Because you come to a wrestling show, whether it's NSL or whether it's RL, or you watch a wrestling show, whatever the situation is, you do that
Mhm.
as an escape because you're sitting there going, for the next few hours, I just don't want to think about anything. I want to watch somebody else. I want to be entertained. So the question be is,
Mhm.
why do you care? But
Yes.
being one, and I'm saying this because anybody that's listened knows what my story of being introduced to wrestling is. My grandfather, and it wasn't until years later, gotten older that you start learning the stuff about kayfabe, and then you start learning about, they're really friends behind the scenes, but you're not supposed to know that. So,
Mhm.
not being on comms, if I'm told, hey, this person is going to be doing a promo, but you're going to have to read it. Okay, I'll read it because it's what I'm supposed to do, but
Right.
doesn't mean that I have to like it. Just like anything in life, I might not always like the things I have to do, but if it's something that's got to be done, then I'm going to do it. But
Right.
but if it were up, and this is one of those things, woulda, coulda, what if, shoulda, blah blah, yada yada yada. That if
Hmm.
it was like, hey, Brian, how would you handle this? Okay, you need to make sure that females read for females because it's kayfabe. To me, that's what it is, kayfabe. Even though it's not the actual person reading it because they
Yeah.
can't or they
Like,
won't, I still like to maintain that illusion that you are still hearing while physically, visibly seeing a female avatar. That's what my hang up always is. But if it's something I have to do, I'm going to do it because it's my job on the table.
touche. And that's fair enough. But to circle back and just get, I'm trying to think of a more pointed answer to say the majority is becoming the minority, and the minority is becoming the majority, and it's just let's go out there and let's embrace. Like, I see a furry wrestler, and I know now I should stop doing it at some point, but I just want to run up and hug him and say, "Yes, you be you." Because hey, let's just go by the saying.
I,
I would rather be hated for who I am than liked for who I am not.
okay,
So if
well,
you're a fucking furry,
I'm gonna let you know, and I can't remember his name, and I know we got Mike and a few other people listening in from LPW. Thank you guys for being here. I was over there actually. Z and I went over to
Mhm.
LPW one of the few times on a Sunday I had off, and I had the time to go over and watch one of their shows. They're one of our sponsors; they plug us, so yes, we try to support them as much as possible. And I do not remember the name of the avatar, but X, you and I in SL are pretty big avatars. We're like, I'm like
Yes.
6'10, I'm like 6'10, over 250. You're very close to that, if not more.
Hmm.
This
Six
avatar
nine.
that was
Yeah.
standing over there, you're talking about when you see these furries and all that, you want to run up and give them a hug. There
Hmm.
was this avatar that, in all honesty, I don't see how in the world he was standing inside the building because I swear to God, big bull, looked to be about 10 feet tall, and one of his legs equaled both of us. I don't know if I'd be running up and wanting to hug him.
I will. I will. And Mike said that he's not very huggable. Mike, to me, you
Her.
are. So so yeah. No,
Uh,
Mike said
oh,
that he's not
oh,
very
oh,
huggable, but to me, Mike is.
okay, okay.
Anyway,
Mike's huggable. Okay,
so
gotcha.
yeah, that's what I will say is that the minority is becoming the majority is becoming the minority, and we can finally let go of this nonsense. Even though I still absolutely abhor poaching, I do. It's
Yeah.
like, why poach? There's wrestle both places.
Well, yeah.
Like, why not?
But you got to understand, way back when we first started,
Hmm.
it got to the point where if somebody in management or somebody who was, whatever, a creative lead or talent relations, whatever they were, if they even discovered that you were even friends with somebody in another Fed, that would cause you problems.
True.
So
True.
then, of course, I went through. I don't, and like I said, I don't know how prolific it is today because I know a lot of people that wrestle in several different feds. Two, three, four. So it's not. I'm guessing not everybody has maintained that mentality. But back in the day, you couldn't even be a Fed owner and show up to another Fed to watch a show without being
Right.
accused of being there to be poaching somebody, which means somebody had to have started that, and then everybody just kind of, oh, if they're there, they're poaching, they're poaching. It all depends on what you talk about poaching. You can talk to anybody you want to. You can make an offer all you want to. It's when that person decides to take the offer is when the issue comes in. Because I can talk all day long to a car salesman on this end of the road. I can talk to a guy down here at the other end and be talking to him about the same thing. And eventually, I'm going to go with one of them. It's whoever's got the better deal. So talking to
Right.
somebody isn't poaching. It's when the actions are already done. And that's what a lot of people are failing to realize or did back in the day is like you can be friends with anybody just because you don't agree on that you like this Fed more than this Fed, or you don't like this owner, or you like this owner, doesn't matter. because what happens outside of the show and outside, it doesn't matter. You're free. You should be free to leave your own SL and be friends with whoever you want to. But back in the day, they didn't want that. They wanted to control everything.
Yes, and like Kaz just said, don't tell me where I wrestle. But the poaching thing that just annoys me even to this day, because weirdly enough, it is still happening. It's that they still do that whole thing of, hey, come over here. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. This place, you want to stay far away from it. It's terrible. They're just going to make you lose all the time. Like, watch, I bet your next match, you're going to make you lose. You got to stay away from it. And then they have the kicker of saying, well, people do what they want. People make their own choices. People, no, bitch, you're a fucking poacher. Fuck you. Straight up, you're poaching. You can't tell them all these sweet things and then shit talk where they are working at the moment, and then get them to go to your place, and then suddenly, the original place doesn't hear from them anymore. It's like, but why? Why care so much?
Yeah.
And
Well, I do something that I noticed, and like I said, I got out of wrestling for a while for my own reasons, RO reasons and SO reasons. But
Mhm.
you're it, and what happens is I'm I need to clarify that this does not happen all the time. I have just noticed instances that has caused
Mhm.
major issues where you
Right.
have somebody that is in one fed and they're wherever their whatever their role happens to be. Are you an opening match? Are you mid card? Are you main event? Are you in a storyline? Are you are you a jobber? Whatever it is.
Mhm.
And then they're in a fed, and and in all honesty, they should be doing their best to do that role to the best of their ability, regardless of where they are. But they'll be in one fed, and all of a sudden it'll be, well, I'm not really happy with the way things are going here, but I don't want to do anything, so I'll bring an alt over here to this other fed. Well, then they
Right.
go to this other fed, and it's the same person running both avatars. But yet they go to another fed, and it could be possibly they're starting out in the same role that they are trying to get away from. But then in the other
Yeah.
fed, in the second fed, they're putting more of an effort in. They're putting more work into it. They're making the matches look a lot better. And to me, I understand wanting to go into a fed and or wanting to go into a show, and your show or your match or your promo, you want that to be the one that stands out because that's always my goal. If I'm in a promo, I want people to be talking about my promo after the show. If I'm in a match, I want my match to steal the show. And I
Right.
get doing that. But when you put more effort into one fed and you're not putting it into another one, that's where the issue comes in. 'Cause it's like, okay, if you want to leave, just leave. If you don't want to be here, nobody's forcing you to be here. But don't come over here and make our show look shitty, and then you go to the other one and give them a better effort for doing the very same thing. You need to put 100% no matter what to show that you're committed to doing what you promised you were going to do.
Right.
And that's where I think a lot of people, and I'm not saying that's where everybody does it, but that's where sometimes a lot of the poaching comes in because you'll get somebody over in another fed. Oh, well, you're doing so great over here. Why don't you just bring your main over here and we'll replace it. And then that's when it starts in, oh, it's going to be much better over here. It's going to be this. But
Yep.
it's also because the effort being put in, it's not being put in the same at each one. Like you're trying to shit on one fed while you're trying to make another one look great when you should be working to make both of them great and improving just yourself. Because that's what you have to work
Exactly.
on first is yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Back in the weird Fed War days, oh god, it's funny to say out loud. Um, is that yeah, everybody was so focused on other people and they're not going to focus on themselves. But now we are focusing on ourselves. We're more relaxed. I don't know what's going. I don't know what happened. I'm glad it happened, but it's one of those things to where now everybody's relaxed and it's okay. Hey, Honor Pro Wrestling. I just went to their show last night. It's wonderful. I'm not worried about getting kicked out of Premiere where I work at now. I'm not worried about that. Not at all. If I say Honor Pro Wrestling is fucking awesome,
Oh,
I don't have to be worried about saying VWE. goddamn spectacular.
Yeah, but
Hell
back
yes.
when we first started, if you mentioned going to
Oh
another show,
God.
if you mentioned going to another
No.
show, it was like, oh, what do you think about going over there? No, I just wanted to see what they were doing. Why can't I watch? That's like, it'd be like in real life. Oh, I'm going to watch SmackDown and Raw this week. No, you can only watch one because you can't watch what the other one's doing. Well, why not? It's two separate shows.
Right.
Right.
And God, yeah, they're being streamed. I can watch one on Monday and then watch another one on Tuesday. Then I can go back and watch one from 3 months ago. Hell yeah. But regardless, it is. I am just also so glad about the relaxing and how things are. Absolutely more relaxed. That I
Okay.
can be at a.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got to. Okay, so there's been a couple of comments that's been put into our chat here that.
The show has major points, and oh no, we've got 3 matches, but show day now we only have 1 match. What the hell do we do? Screw it. Let's just send Mad Mike out there. He can wrestle a mop. Anyway.
Mad Mike would go out there and wrestle him up, and it'd probably steal the freaking show.
Yeah, it'd be main event. It'd be automatic
right,
main event.
Right.
You're knocking main event. Like, oh no, but it's the world championships. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'd love to go like 10 main events straight with no championships.
Well, I mean, it's like what I was talking about earlier with Corrupted. When you corrected me when I said it was tricycle, and you said it was a big wheel, and I said he could bring out that hobby horse. You can imagine Mike running around the ring with a mop, doing that, and just basically smacking it around, saying, "Who's your daddy now? Who's your daddy now?" And actually, right. and Mike, being the nut that he was, would actually answer for the mop. He would make that so entertaining.
He would, it'd be Mad Mike, come here, mop, and then he'd be like talk out the side of his mouth or something. No, get away from me. It would be fucking awesome.
What Mick Foley and Sacco and Al Snow and Head.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Perry Saturn and the mop. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about Perry Saturn and the mop. Oh, okay. I got it. It's Moppo. Oh, that's right. I got it.
No, Toastifer. No, there is not enough sacrifice. Sacrifice everything. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so way earlier when you're talking, you made the mention that you as X have stayed away from titles in SL. And yes, we are very familiar with there are a lot of people, past, present, and there will be people in the future because it's inevitable, that feel that the only way that they can say that they've accomplished anything with SL Wrestling or that they've done anything is to have as many titles as they possibly can, or at least have a run at it so they can say, I was in this. Mm-hmm. Why is it that you have avoided titles?
Okay, so originally, as I stated, I earn what I get. I have to earn what I get. Now, that's not open door to make me literally lose every single match for 10 months straight.
Right.
Like, oh, hell no. Like, after about, I would say the 5th loss, then I'm going to start losing it my way to where I can still keep the crowd, but I'll still put somebody over, but I'm going to do it my way. And it's going to be straight up motor oil and clogged artery blood. No, it's not just going to be lightly dusty finishes. No, it's going to be ink blackout type. Well, no, I don't want to say blackout because that's an actual thing. It's going to be the murkiest of murk that was ever thick. In fact, it's not even a gas or a liquid anymore. It's going to be so solid.
The murkity of murk that's ever been murked.
Yes, that's how fucked up the endings are going to be. I will, and thankfully with SL, I will have a goddamn meerkat and a fucking honey badger driving a UFO into the fucking ref. That's how I lost my last match. Okay. I will get really creative if I get to like 5-6 losses in a row.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. We know a meerkat, so teach them how to drive the UFO. I may need a driver for that if I lose 6 matches in a row.
Okay, so you didn't answer my question, so let me go back and re-ask the question.
Sorry.
The question was, how is it, or why is it that you have avoided titles? Because, as Hammer just said, and we know that Hammer is the owner of Honor Pro Wrestling, he simply said storylines, titles, which I agree the fact that he put it that
Yes.
storylines are greater than titles. I completely agree with that. But at
Yes.
some point, in time, somebody like UX, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, it's honest truth. You say that you've avoided titles. You haven't said why, and I want to know why. But you also said that when somebody mentions it to you, you're like, "Have you earned it? Have you earned it?" Think about what you've done. Okay,
Mhm.
you don't go title collecting. You don't walk into a Fed and say, "Hey, I'm X. You know who I am. Who's the champion?
Right.
That's my." You don't do that. So for you to question why, are you worthy of it? There's not a single person in SL Wrestling that would not say yes. And if they do, they're an idiot, and I'll tell that to their face. I don't give a fuck who they are. But my question is from the beginning,
Mhm.
why have you avoided? Why have you stayed away from titles? I know you don't need it to signify who you are, but when
Mhm.
somebody comes and says, "Hey, we want to put you in a title storyline, do this," that should tell you that you've reached where they trust you because wearing the title, you are the face of that company. So why would you
Right.
purposely avoid titles?
All right. So it's actually a three-part answer, but I will make them shorter. I will tighten things up a bit here. So first one is I got to earn what I get. So that's, walking in and just being like, you know who I am. I'll be the loudest motherfucker here, blah, blah, blah. All right. That's part one. Part two is a scale. Now, on one side of the scale, you have the people that are like, titles are everything. You're going to give me a title. I got to get that title. Title, title, title. Then you have the other end of the scale, to where, no, titles are just a prop. Titles don't mean nothing. Titles are meaningless. Even if you say that backstage, even if you say that breaking the fourth wall here, then throw your fucking titles away immediately. Where's that middle ground to where, yes, the titles do mean something, both backstage, breaking fourth wall, real life, on stage, in the ring, all of it combined. Like that's where it should be. It should be in the middle to where the titles mean something. You got to put meaning to it. Put meaning to that title.
Okay.
Oh, it's just a boost up a storyline, and that's the second reason why. Because when I come in and I hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, that title is just a prop," I don't. Okay, fine, fuck it. Now the third one is where I may dance into some ignorance. Okay, I may not ignorance, arrogance. Now here's where I'll let some cockiness strut for a moment by saying, "Book me." That's it. That is literally my only demand. I don't need a bunch of, orange M&Ms in a brandy glass. I don't need my own dressing room. I don't need anything. I make my own shit. Up
Right.
and down, left and right, except for the moves. Thank you to the animators and the creators. Thank you so much. I don't make those, but book me. I'm going to go out there and by God, I'm striving to be up there, if not, going a little higher than the champions. Then the people that are coming out there like, hey, I'm champion. Boom, I'll come up with whatever, 10 times more energy and I will drop some shit. I'll go out there and I will bust my ass. Because a lot of times when people get that title, when people get that, heavyweight championship or the world title, whatever the case may be, suddenly they feel like they've done all they can do in that Fed. And now let's go check out another one. Let's go grab another title. Right? There are those people. But for me, yeah, from the jump, I just wanted to do my stories. That's it. I wanted to do the stories. And so when it came to that point to where I'm in my 10th year and I finally get a belt, I finally get that world title. I was able to walk around saying, this was 10 years worth of fucking buildup. Kiss my ass, beat that, top that.
Well, I
So
mean,
yeah, there was a lot of reasons. Those were the three main ones, but more so of yeah, like I said, I wanted to build myself up so that by the time I did get that title, it was like, oh, we know X beforehand. So now X is showing us his new friend this world title.
mhm.
And that is how the wrestler makes the title, and the title does not make the wrestler. Because if the title makes the wrestler, sell your account, delete it, you're done. If you need a championship to be made, here's your championship, you're done. Maybe go check out one of the other tens of thousands of Sims out there.
Okay, well, I can totally agree with that. All right. Well, we are coming close to the very end. X, is there any type of advice or anything that you would like to give, or anything that you would like to say that maybe something that you've been meaning to say for a while, or something you've been wanting to say to everybody who's listening that has to do with SL wrestling, or something maybe that they don't know about you? Is there any kind of advice you want to give them? Is there words of wisdom, any inspiration you have?
I will say words of awareness, because whew, for a while there, I was building up friendships. I was close to people. Everything was great, and then suddenly, it's like step one: people got used to me being around. People got used to me being there. And then through the series of events that were all on me, I take my part of the blame, but I'm aware and I admit that when I had people who got used to me being around and then suddenly dealing with a bunch of stuff, that they got used to me not being around. And some people still to this day are like, "Oh, you're still wrestling? Oh, you're still here? Thought you left." It's almost like the Kiefer Sutherland effect. Like, "Oh, I thought you died." And I can, I can own up to that. That I took a step away. I took a couple steps away just to so I can tell myself, "Hey, I'm not addicted to this. I can step away at any time." But no, I'm not addicted to it. I am clinically obsessed with it. SL wrestling is my main obsession for my OCD and my OCPD. So, in that, I just want to say to all the people who might have felt abandoned by me, I am sorry. I worked through it, and if you ever want to talk, hey, I'm here. Absolutely. You are not getting that fucking reach around in the parking lot, but we can chat. We can absolutely chat.
Oh
And
my
my
God.
bad. And I would like to clear the air if there are any misgivings with people.
We are so getting banned after this one. We thought Sparksy was bad.
Oh, no, no, no. Oh, you want to get
No,
canceled?
no,
Oh,
no,
we can
no,
totally
no,
get
no, no,
canceled here.
no, no, no,
So
no, no, no,
anyway,
no,
Donald
no.
Trump and Putin walk into my
Oh
house.
no,
Oh,
my
wait, what?
God,
No,
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 don't.
we don't.
We don't talk politics on here. Just stop, okay?
I know. That's why it was funny.
Because you were the one
That's
that
why
brought
it
it up.
was
That don't
funny.
talk.
Yes, yes, we're absolutely,
Okay,
we're absolutely canceled.
okay. So you, like we said before, you've been around for a while. You've been around for a number of years. You've had a lot of matches.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of opponents. I've asked this of other guests, so I'm just going to ask it of you. Who is somebody that you would be your dream opponent? What would be your dream match?
Oh, God damn it! I hate to make the place so fucking somber. Jackson Dune. That's
Real,
always been
really?
my answer.
Are
Yeah, because
are they aware of that?
they sadly passed away some years ago.
Oh, okay. So, hmm.
Ah,
Okay.
so
Let's kind of move up a little bit now today, with everybody that you know, things you've seen. Who would be a dream match for you today?
whew, um, just because it's so fresh in my head, all of Honor Pro Wrestling,
All of
all of
Honor
them,
Pro Wrestling.
the whole fucking roster. Yes,
Okay, so
let's go make some
okay,
goddamn
okay. Hold
matches.
on, hold on.
Fuck yeah.
You said the whole honor, or the whole roster of honor. I know that Hammer is still sitting in here.
Oh,
So,
hey, Hammer.
yeah, Hammer's still sitting in here. So, here we go. Need to set up a 2 or 3 week show where X has to run the gauntlet through your whole roster.
Yes, and make the last one, and since this is very easy, thankfully, in the furry community, make it a very random furry, and I'm allergic to them, and that's how I
Oh my
lose the match.
god.
I want that.
You
Absolutely.
can't be allergic to a furry when you want to hug them.
Yes, you can.
No.
I just did not take my Benadryl before the match. It sucks to be me.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Wow.
but I will just it's difficult to say one who would I love to be in a match with like one person. I can't really say that. There's not just one person because I love rosters. To be honest, yes, I knew that Hammer was the owner of Honor Pro. I don't know the management team. I don't know the management team at VWE, BCW. I don't because I love the rosters. So I absolutely love the rosters, and I'll wrestle anybody, and we'll make it fun. Right, Emma. If Emma's still here, yeah,
Okay.
Emma. You remember Lacey?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have got to give Hammer a shout out for this because I'm 100% behind him because his reply was, I don't think you realize how dumb my booking gets with weed and no supervision. I can 100% relate to that due to the fact that I myself am a pothead, and I can tell you that if I was in charge of booking, there would be some outlandish shit being done. So I can relate. I can get behind that. I support you on that one, Hammer.
Yes.
Oh,
Also, obviously LPW. I want to take on their roster, and maybe put a little bit more focus on Oliver because I don't think I've ever faced Oliver. And listening to the previous podcast, he seems like he and I might get along really well because we can write a match and we can throw feeling out of it and then put feeling back into it. Like I think I would
well,
work nicely
let's
with
be
Oliver. And
perfectly honest. You know, you said
Mhm.
you saw the episode, so you know we had the chance to sit down with him. I had the chance to sit down with you. I'm not gonna lie, I would like to see that match, but I'm not gonna lie, it would take you 6 days to write it because you spend 5 days just talking about it because you both love to talk.
Then fucking book it 8 days in advance. Jesus, it's simple math, BK. Simple math. I don't care
Okay,
if it takes 6 days. That's all.
okay. That's fair enough. I got you. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Oh, I'm sorry. That killed me. Good answer
Yes,
though. Good
Emma.
answer though. I
Yeah.
like that. That was a good answer though.
Yeah, because he's like 5 feet shorter than me, but I'm still 33 and a third percent of 5/10, over eighths to the pie bigger with my pinky finger and a shoelace again. Math.
Jesus Christ. What have we gotten ourselves into? Woo! Yeah, Scott Steiner math.
All of them. All of the maths. All of the maths.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our episode with the one and only Xander Garcia, also known as X. Definitely want to thank you for coming out. This has been a blast, and actually it was very eye-opening because we've never had the opportunity to actually sit down and talk like this in all the years we've known each other. It's always been I was in the Fed, you were in the Fed. Hey, BK, you and Xander are going to be in a match. Or you're going to do this. Oh, okay. Well, okay. We never had the opportunity to actually sit down. So a lot of stuff you said today, the first time I was hearing it. So that's why I like doing this because you never know what you're going to hear, and that's why it's unscripted. So want to
Hell
thank
yeah! Like I walk into that locker, I walk in there. It's go time. It's time to work because I've got to work. Because if I'm not working on something, then idle hands and trash buyers.
Absolutely. Well, once again, we want to thank you all. Make sure that you hit that like and that subscribe button in our YouTube because I said it before in one of the other episodes. I don't know how it all works, but every time you like it, the algorithm goes up, and the more likes we get, the more the circulation hits, and might get recommended to other people, and some other people might come in here and learn some stuff, and actually may end up being SL wrestlers or at least coming in and supporting you all. So definitely want to thank
Yes.
you all. Check us out on YouTube.
Also,
Go ahead.
if I may, to also help the algorithm, what helps the algorithm best after the like button is to watch another episode of The Fourth Wall right after this. The more consecutive episodes you watch, the better the algorithm is. It feeds the algorithm. It loves it. So watch another episode. Go check out the Mad Mike and Oliver one. Or, hey, wait a minute, Hammer, when are you getting on here?
We got
Go watch the Hammer one.
No,
If
no,
you've
no,
seen
no,
this in
no,
the
no.
future-
Hammer is scheduled to be on. Actually, he's going to be one that we're going to be reaching out to within the next couple of weeks because we got people ahead. We've been trying to get everybody booked. Hammer is one that is scheduled to come on.
I'm psychic. So if you are watching this in the
Psychic, more like
future,
psycho.
go back to the future that is back and go watch Hammer's video and then watch Mad Mike and Oliver. Watch consecutive videos.
All right, everybody. I want to thank you once again. We will see you all next time. X, once again, thank you. You all have a good night and see you all very, very soon. LPW, or known as Limitless Pro Wrestling. Catch them at 12 p.m. SLT on Sundays. Aran's Domain is a SL themed server for friends, family, and the SL Wrestling community. They have all sorts of channels and categories that may pique your interest and are currently tied to several other beds in the SL community, whether Rain works there or not. They do show their support for the family in the best way that they can. If you wish to become a member and join us, feel free to ask yourself or Chrissy and they will get back to you. Welcome to the Aran family, and the door is always open.